Welcome everybody to Linux Academy. My name is Terry, and over this course we will be covering all things Linux, introduction to installation and setup. So now that we've installed our Gnome desktop and picked the GDM manager so that we can log into Gnome, let's look at some of the ways that we can customize our system. Gnome has a very limited number of customizations that are available through the system settings. In fact, you can't even change the background without right-clicking on it. And again, if you look at the paradigm, the user paradigm, and I know I keep coming back to that, it's got some way to go because it's not obvious that you have to right-click on the background to choose the wallpapers. I don't mind that paradigm if there was some way to visually determine that that was what was necessary in order to do. So in this case, let's go ahead and select this, which is more of a regular Gnome background, and go back to settings. And we can change things like the brightness, just like we could in Unity. We can make display setting changes here. We can change our mouse and touchpad. So these are things that we did in Unity without the Unity tweak tool. Fortunately, some enterprising soul has also written the Gnome tweak tool. So if we do a sudo apt-get install gnome tweak tool, which I already have it installed, you'll find that this tool will do much of the same types of things that you saw in the tweak tool, just a little bit differently. So if you see, we have the day and the time of day and the clock. I kind of like to know what date it is. So it's the 16th. I want seconds on my clock. Day of the week in the calendar. So now when I click on this, it tells me Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I can open my full calendar. On my desktop, I can have File Manager handle the desktop. File Manager is just the built-in Gnome display panel, and you really actually want to leave that on because that can cause you problems if you don't. This is where, much like KDE, or much like Unity rather, we can have icons visible on the desktop, network servers, the trash icon, etc., mounted volumes on the desktop. In fact, we'll go ahead and turn that on, although I don't know. Actually there is one, which is the root file system. We can change our fonts. We can highlight the current location of the pointer when we press Control key. This is what we were just using before. We can have dynamic workspaces. Dynamic workspaces means continue to allocate additional workspaces up to the memory limit of the system, or we can limit it to just 4. There are extensions that we can install that are available from Gnome. Be careful with these extensions. Not all of them are written very well, and enabling an extension that for whatever reason no longer supports the library, the libraries that are installed on your system, library levels, can cause problems. They generally do a good job of telling you which ones are compatible with your system with an on and off switch. So we can download and install alternate tab from extensions, and you'll get an error if the extension that you're trying to turn on is not compatible with your system. But there's a large number of these extensions that are available. The further back you go, the more likely that these extensions won't work. The system monitor. So explore the extensions at your leisure, but again, your mileage may vary with the different extensions that are available. A lot of people like the applications menu, which will make your application menu look exactly the same that the GNOME 2 menus used to look like. So let's go ahead and close our browser. We don't have any extensions installed. Menus can have icons. Buttons have icons. Enable dark themes for all applications. We can change our theme. and it's immediately affected. Go back to the ambiance theme that I happen to like. Key binding, icon theme, all of that can be changed right here. For typing, you can remap your input sources. And this is where you can control some of the window management features, which, again, if you'll notice, you don't have any, other than close, you don't have any window management icons here. We can change how those items behave and where items appear. So again, the tweak tool is what you'll want to use to customize. You won't find quite the flexibility that you'll find in KDE in terms of desktop functionality. Although Gnome does have a number of extensions that are available for it, they're not quite as mature, and they tend to the libraries are in such a state of flux that they tend to not function as well as the KDE widgets do, for example. Although in Fedora, for example, Gnome is supported at a since it's the default desktop for Fedora, it's a lot more mature, and it doesn't suffer from some of the limitations that you'll see in Ubuntu. That's all we're going to look at for the Gnome desktop customizations. My name is Terry for Linux Academy, brought to you by Pinehead TV.